Tonight on Carolina News, nuclear tension. Officials say North Korea could be testing nuclear weapons as early as this weekend. The latest details. Tebow mania. How the Heisman winner is stealing hearts in the capital city.
Well, I do love baseball, but yeah, Tim Tebow definitely brought me here.
And later, downward facing goats. How one farm includes fuzzy friends in yoga. Carolina News starts now.
Live from the capital city, Carolina News brings you your news first. With breaking news and in-depth reporting. Up-to-the-minute weather. And all your sports news and highlights. It's all here, now, on Carolina News.
Hello and welcome to Carolina News. I'm Alex Garino.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Braylee Johnson.
All eyes are on North Korea after they claim that they were, quote, primed and ready for a nuclear test.
President Trump responded by saying North Korea was a problem that had to be dealt with. Reporter Robert McCachran is live in the Greenhouse studio with more. Robert?
That's right, Alex. Tensions are certainly high as new reports have come out that North Korea will test their nuclear capabilities this weekend as final preparations are being made in Pyongyang's testing sites. Now the waiting game begins to see if North Korea will test its missiles. How or when other U.S. and the other countries will respond, this remains to be seen.
For several years, North Korea has been testing multiple types of ballistic missiles. But now they have seemed to up the ante as it is believed they will be testing nuclear weapons this weekend. All eyes are on this situation as North Korea and the United States could be on a crash course for war. Shikri Sabaha, an expert on foreign affairs, says it's almost like a waiting game.
Well, a waiting game, or you can call this a game of chicken. You've got two potential adversaries, railing towards each other at high speed. Who's going to blink first?
The United States Navy has sent a strike force, including aircraft carrier USS Carl Vinson, and launched a surprise military exercise with full combat air power in Japan. And Sabaha says this is why the United States and the Trump administration are dealing with this so seriously.
You want to be the president of the United States when North Korea develops long-range nuclear missile capability to strike the west coast of the United States, coupled with potentially enough nuclear arsenal to maybe wipe out a couple American cities?
Tensions are definitely high, and with the potential of North Korea testing a nuclear missile, this is the current situation. So if you look over here, the Kadena Air Base in Japan, U.S. have several airplanes and fighter jets ready to attack and respond in case if they decide to do this. Down here, we have the U.S. task force with the USS Carl Vinson waiting if they want to strike. And then up in here is the areas where they've tested ballistic missiles. And right here in Pyongyang, as you can tell, is where they have tried and they prepared to get their nuclear weapons ready to go for a test. Now that's the current situation. Now we'll just have to wait and see how this situation plays out. Back to you in the studio.
New details are emerging after the United States dropped the mother of all bombs on an ISIS target in Afghanistan. This video released today shows the strike on an ISIS cave where 36 militants were killed. The Afghan government says the blast destroyed 3 underground tunnels along with weapons and ammunition. President Trump explains why he is giving the military the green light against ISIS.
We have the greatest military in the world, and they've done a job as usual. So we have given them total authorization.
As is the case with every part of Trump's foreign policy, we're all trying to understand, what is the strategy? What is our overall purpose here? And so far, we're just not hearing it.
The mother of all bombs can destroy a 9-block radius. It's the first time the bomb has ever been used in combat.
One person is dead after a tractor-trailer explosion in Louisiana. This 18-wheeler burst into flames after a dump truck rear-ended it Thursday on Interstate 310. The driver of the tractor-trailer escaped with what police call moderate injuries. The driver of the dump truck was pronounced dead at the scene. No charges have been filed as the investigation is still ongoing.
Well, it looks like it's shaped up to be a great day, and after being inside for most of the day, all I want to do is soak up the sun.
I agree. It looks like a great day outside, and our weatherman Bryan Solomon is out in the Kennedy Greenhouse garden. Bryan, how's it looking out there?
It is great out here. Honestly, I was considering skipping class to go to the pool, but then I realized I had a forecast to do. It's going to be great weather all weekend, going to be mid-80s, so it's going to be perfect for an Easter egg hunt on Sunday. The nights are also going to be pretty nice. Well, it's going down just to the low 60s. The weather will continue, nice weather will continue till Monday, and it's going to be pretty hot Monday with peaking at around 86. But we will have some storms rolling in next week. I'll tell you more about those storms coming up later in the show. Back to you in the studio.
Student loan debt follows millions of students post-graduation, leaving many wondering how they will make it out of the sea of loans. Our Carolina News reporter Princess Ruff uncovers possible solutions to combat student loan debt.
As seniors eagerly await graduation day, something else is coming along with this crossover into adulthood.
It's really, really bad. I'm gonna have a ton of debt, like $100,000.
Student loans is the giant elephant in the room that a majority of college students will eventually have to face.
You know, you don't really think about it when you first start school, but now that I'm graduating in like a few weeks.
A financial aid counselor was unable to speak, but according to the University of South Carolina's financial aid annual report, over 80% of graduate students receive financial aid. That total goes up to over 90% for undergraduate students. USC also distributed almost $150 million in federal aids to students for the 2016-2017 school year. But senior Jacovia Johnson was one of the lucky ones.
I was fortunate enough to have grandparents to actually pay for my school, as well as my father he was in the military as well, so I was able to use his benefits to also pay for school.
And she intends to keep it that way.
I plan on getting a master's probably within the next year due to training for Air Force. So I probably use my GI Bill within the Air Force to pay for that. And that's a plan for right now.
Crevier also took a more proactive approach for his financial future.
So a huge reason for me joining the military is to pay off my student loans because they're going to reimburse like 100% of it. So
as students quietly carry more than the weight of textbooks on their back, some are hoping to exit college life and into adulthood much more prepared. Princess Ruff, Carolina News.
Financial aid counselors encourage students to take advantage of federal jobs, make extra loan payments, use student loan benefits, and spend their tax refunds wisely.
A Hopkins teenager is missing, and the Richland County Sheriff's Department is asking the community for help to find her. 15-year-old Diamond McMillan was last seen a week ago at her home in Hopkins, South Carolina. McMillan's family says the teen has medical conditions that make her dependent on medications, which she did not take with her. If you know anything about McMillan, please call the displayed phone number.
A South Carolina police officer injured in a motorcycle crash earlier this week has died from his injuries. 39-year-old Spartanburg police officer Jason Gregory Harris passed away Thursday evening. The police department says Harris was on his way to help officers with a burglary report Tuesday night when he hit a car turning left on Union Drive. Officers say Harris did have his helmet on, but he was thrown from his motorcycle and sustained life-threatening injuries. The police department hosted a blood drive in front of the Spartanburg City Hall today and asked the community to come out in honor of Officer Harris.
A Midland steel worker is dead following an accident at a Casey Commercial Metals Company plant yesterday afternoon. 25-year-old Corey Thomas Morris was killed in a workplace-related incident at the CMC plant. City of Casey Public Safety received information on the accident around 5 p.m. yesterday, and no one else was involved in the incident. An autopsy revealed that Morris died of blunt force trauma to the head. CMC Steel, South Carolina is located on the south side of Casey on New State Road.
Earlier this week, the president of Penn State threatened to shut down all of Greek life on campus following the death of a student at a fraternity party. Carolina News reporter Allison McHugh took a look at what USC Greek life does to prevent and respond to these types of tragedies.
Early February, paramedics found Penn State student Timothy Piazza dead at the Beta Theta Pi house. The university tried to enforce stricter rules on Greek life, but when that failed, Penn State President Eric Bannon threatened to end Greek life on his campus, referring to the members' behavior as resembling the bros of Animal House. Unfortunately, former USC Interfraternity Council President Joe Sternberg says this isn't something foreign to Carolina.
You have to ask yourselves, we have to ask ourselves, what are we about and what are we going to do about this? A couple years ago after Charlie's passing, that's exactly what we did.
Charlie was a member of a fraternity at USC and died at a party in the fall of 2015. And although it was no one's fault, it was no less tragic. According to Penn State, Greek life members are 4 times more likely to be heavy drinkers than the average college student. But here at USC, Greek members say they're here for more than just the party. Sophomore Romy Poor is a member of Kappa Alpha and says sometimes the stereotypes don't hold up.
There's a lot of kids that have worked their way up through high school and college, a lot of kids on scholarships, a lot of kids that pay their own dues, that want to be in a fraternity because they like the connections, not because they want to walk around and be idiots and get drunk.
But he also knows sometimes the shoe fits.
We were in trouble last year, and the year before that, and probably the year before that.
And with trouble comes consequences.
Yeah, well, you got to play by the rules, and if you don't play by the existing rules, then odds are that whoever, be it the national organization or the school, is going to slap some more rules on you.
Joe says the rules were never put in place to stop the fun.
And that's just not the case. It never has been. They're there to keep people safe.
Allison McHugh, Carolina News.
Sternberg said there have been less sanctions and hospitalizations due to alcohol and hazing violations since the fall semester. Fraternities are ready to change the culture and shed light on the positives they can bring to campus.
USC's graduation is just 3 weeks away, and the university's new graduation ticket policy is causing some students to take desperate measures for tickets. See how next on Carolina News.
I believe that home is where your pet is.
And that loving an animal means never giving up on them, never letting them go.
I believe that when you spay or neuter your pets, you help decrease the number of homeless animals.
Because every dog and cat deserves a place to call home.
I believe that I found my best friend at a shelter. And you can too.
We believe that together with Best Friends Animal Society,
we can bring about a time when there are no more homeless pets.
Visit ambassadors.bestfriends.org.
My limit is 2, and I always make sure to eat something.
If I'm out for several hours, my limit is 3.
I know my limit is 1.
Until I'm 21, my limit is always 0.
Alcohol affects people differently, but the legal limit is .08 for everyone over 21. In order to be safe and stay well below the legal limit, it's important to know your limits and know the law. To find out more, go to responsiblelimits.com.
This year, for graduation, students at the University of South Carolina are only allotted 5 tickets per graduating senior. This has created a black market for graduation tickets. Justine Pallas has more.
How much would you pay for extra graduation tickets?
Altogether, $120.
That is, if you can find one. USC student Kelly Kumalander was struggling to find tickets for her friends and family members since the University of South Carolina limited each senior to only 5 tickets.
I think that's stupid because people are out of town and they have a lot of friends that need tickets and a lot of family members, but...
Students who are not using all 5 tickets are selling them, and you wouldn't believe how much they are going for.
And I never even thought about selling mine, and later that day he's $500 richer.
Facebook has become a black market for students to find and sell graduation tickets. And the dollar amount isn't standing in students' way of making sure their friends and family make it to graduation.
Honestly, I thought I was going to pay less than that. They're more expensive than I thought.
But not all students are using the money for a profit.
I'm in Dance Marathon, and I figured I would donate the money to Dance Marathon because it's money I wasn't expecting to have. But I mean, I could easily just as much have sold them and profited from it like so many people probably are.
Students are unhappy they have to go the extra mile for tickets when in the past years getting tickets wasn't an issue.
I can't imagine how I would feel if I had to buy extra tickets or if I had to spend so much money on them.
The only problem is students can get called to a student conduct hearing for selling their tickets through Facebook. The university considers it theft since the tickets are given out through Carolina cards. A price students are willing to pay to make sure their loved ones will be at graduation day. Justine Pallas, Carolina News.
The university declined to respond about consequences students will receive if they sell their graduation tickets.
Following North Carolina's dismissal of its bathroom bill, the Justice Department has dropped its LGBT discrimination lawsuit against the state. Last month, North Carolina agreed to rid its most noted provision of House Bill 2, which required transgender people to use bathrooms that corresponded with the sex of their birth certificate in public places. While the Trump administration has dropped the case, independent advocacy groups still say the new laws are discriminatory and will continue a separate federal lawsuit.
The Columbia Fireflies have had a great start to the 2017 season. The team is tied for first place in the South Atlantic League standings with an 8-2 record. Between the team's hot play on the diamond and a celebrity in the lineup, fans are packing Spirit Communications Park night in and night out. Carolina News reporter Bryan Principe took a step inside of the phenomenon known as Tebow Mania.
It's a weekday night at the ballpark, and the Fireflies are in the midst of their second season. While the team brings in the runs, one player brings in the fans.
Well, I do love baseball, but yeah, Tim Tebow definitely brought me here.
Oh yeah, Tim Tebow. Of course it's Tebow.
Whose jersey do you think this guy is wearing? Of course, it's Tim Tebow's. The Heisman Trophy winner and former Florida Gator has sent the capital city into Tebow Mania. Kids, adults, even toothbrush-wielding base cleaners, all donning the iconic number 15 jersey. And why do people flock to see Tebow?
Being able to look at him is always nice. Well, I'm a resident of Columbia. I love baseball, and I'm a Florida Gator.
Gators everywhere invading Columbia.
I'm visiting from Florida. So right as we left the house, I said, listen, I got to wear something with the Gators on it because I'm going to be rooting for Tim Tebow. That's the main reason I'm here.
And the buck doesn't stop with UF fans. Columbia residents are all in on some Tebow time.
To see a Heisman Trophy winner during my age and time is just a good experience. It's fantastic.
And when I heard he was coming here, it blew my mind. I was like, season tickets, gotta buy them.
Some fans are looking for a souvenir.
He's been hitting them out this way, so maybe get a ball.
No homer on this night, and although Tebow went 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts, he'll continue to bring all the fans to the yard. Bryan Principe, Carolina News.
And Tebow has slugged 2 home runs on the season, one coming on his very first at-bat with the Fireflies. Those 2 home runs has him tied for 3rd in the league in that category. And those Tebow jerseys, they're flying off the shelves at $27 a pop.
Well, today has felt like great baseball weather.
You're right, it has, and our weatherman, Bryan Solomon, is outside in the Kennedy Greenhouse studio. How's it looking out there, Bryan?
Well, Alex, it's just as nice out here as it was the last time I spoke to you, but I was seriously considering skipping the forecast so I can sit out here and enjoy this weather. But the reason why I did is because this sun is going to be lasting throughout the weekend into next week with some high temperatures starting off the work week. But there are some storms that are expected to roll in. I'll tell you more about those storms and the nice weather before it coming up next.
Adopt a dog, adopt a big dog, unless you have a small apartment. But if you have a little grass, get off your ass. Adopt a dog, adopt a dog, adopt a big dog, and you will have a bigger friend. Adopt a dog, adopt a big dog, give him a home he can defend. Ooh.
Sir, do you have any idea how super cool you are?
Yeah, thanks.
I have a picture of you for above my bed, please. It's a super cool picture, super cool. Here's your picture back. I don't deserve it. Also a short poem I wrote about you. So super cool.
If only everyone saw you the way your dog does.
Yeah, you're a good boy.
If you thought last month was warmer than normal, you're not alone. NASA says last month was the 2nd warmest March in over a century. The 2 warmest Marches on record happened in the last 2 years. Last month was 1.12 degrees Celsius warmer than the mean March temperature from 1951 to 1980. Last February was the 2nd warmest February on record, while January was the 3rd warmest January.
Well, I can totally believe it was like the 2nd hottest March. Last month was crazy.
It has been absolutely beautiful out. Brian, will this warm weather last?
Yes, it will. This weekend is supposed to be really nice, really warm, and the sun is still beating down. But currently in Columbia, it is hot, hot, hot. It is nice low 80s throughout the day with not a lot of wind, but it felt like, even though you see that 82, it feels like low 90s, believe it or not. Like I said, light winds, 45% humidity, so it's been pretty a hot day. But if we look now at the current state maps, like I said, 82 today in Columbia, 80 in Orangeburg. On the coast, we have some a little cooler temperatures, 76 in Hilton Head, 75 in Charleston, and the upstate, 83 in Rock Hill, very warm for them, and then 83 in Greenville, okay? But let me tell you why that's happening. So if you see over here, we have a lot of fronts out here that we're going to be looking at. But first, I'm going to tell you, down here, we have all this warm weather coming up from the coast, and that warm, moist weather is giving us this clear skies, well, kind of clear skies, and not giving us that warm weather. If you look behind me over here, those fronts are going to be coming in, and they're going to be bringing in some rain showers in the beginning of next week. Right now, they're causing some big storms out Midwest. We got hail out there, possible tornadoes, and that's going to be coming here around Monday, Tuesday, some possible scattered storms, really thunderstorms, but they aren't going to be causing as much damage as they did in Midwest. They're going to be calming down as they come over here. Now, if we look next, on tonight's lows, it's supposed to be very nice, 59 in Columbia, 60 in Greenville, so it's not going to be getting too cold. On the coast, nice 62 if you're on the coast, 62 in Myrtle Beach, 61 in Charleston, 64 in Hilton Head, and then if you also see in Aiken, it's going to be 56, Orangeburg 57. Tomorrow is also supposed to be very nice, all right? It's supposed to be 84 in Columbia, upstate 81 in Rock Hill, 82 in Greenville, 83 down in Aiken, and the coast again is supposed to be a little cooler, but still great temperature. 79 in Charleston, 76 in Hilton Head. Let me give you the 5-day forecast, okay? So tomorrow we'll be having a nice 84, Sunday 84, and Monday 86. So it's going to be very, very nice this week.
Well, coming up on Carolina News, find out which of the three former USC women's basketball players will be taking their game to the professional level.
The new gorillas and feed the giraffes at Riverbank Zoo, Columbia.
Get up and get groovy. Kid, what's up with you? Let's get up and play. Do something. Stop slumping like a lump all day. Get on up, come on. Get out the door. Let's shake that booty like never before. Let's run, have fun. Let's jump and groove. Get up and get that body up. Make it move. Get up, and be a player. Get up. Woo. Let's run, have fun. Get up and be a player.
Get up and play an hour a day.
Ouch! Sorry. For cool playtime ideas, go online. Just don't stay long.
Well, the fun for the South Carolina women's basketball team never seems to end.
Right, they have another reason to celebrate, don't they, Stan?
They've had an unbelievable year, and they keep making the school proud. The rich keep getting richer. 11 days after winning the national championship, the South Carolina women's basketball team had 3 players selected in the first round of the WNBA draft. Elena Coates, Alicia Gray, and Kayla Davis will continue their playing careers professionally, as they were all top 10 picks in Thursday night's draft. 9 Gamecocks have been selected in the program's history, including 5 during head coach and former WNBA player herself, Dawn Staley's career at USC. Elena Coates was selected 2nd overall by the Chicago Sky, while Alicia Gray and Kayla Davis were selected 4th and 10th overall, respectively, by the Dallas Wings. The WNBA season begins May 13th. With the second day of the RBC Heritage Tournament in Hilton Head underway, Carolina News reporters Parker King and Nick Jones are at the event to bring you more updates after an eventful first day on the course.
Well, it's Friday, second round here at the 49th RBC Heritage. A lot of low scores this morning, and a lot of guys making moves. One of them was Ian Poulter. He's just 2 behind the lead, and he's tied with Webb Simpson right now.
And the leader is Graham Dillette. He has -10 for the tournaments. He shot 4 under today. Really, course conditions did help him out with that. And both Poulter and Dillette did talk to the media about how the course conditions helped them get the scores that they had today.
So far, I've been in pretty good control of my golf ball, hitting a lot of greens, and that's really the key. And you know, these greens are so pure, and if you get the right read on them, you know, you can make some putts out here as well.
I think we're all surprised how good the course is. It's probably the best I've ever seen it. With obviously, you know, the storms they had back in October, it's in, you know, superb condition.
We'll continue to track former Gamecock Wesley Bryan throughout this afternoon, and we'll give you a recap at the end of the day.
And you can catch all those recaps on Twitter and Facebook. Just follow us on Twitter at USC Carolina News. From Hilton Head Island for Parker King, I'm Nick Jones, Carolina News.
After a disappointing 20-5 loss at the hands of the North Carolina Tar Heels Tuesday night, the USC baseball team comes home for a weekend series against SEC foe Mississippi State. The number 14 Gamecocks host the number 21 Bulldogs in an important series for both teams as they look to improve their record in the SEC standings. USC head coach Chad Holbrook says his team is confident they will recover from the loss, but they will have to play their best baseball for the rest of the season.
I don't see any sense of you know, kids feeling sorry for themselves or having lost any confidence or anything like that. You know, we sit here a game out of first in one of the, if not the toughest conference in the country, and we got a lot to play for. We're going to have to play good down the stretch. We'd have to play good down the stretch whether we hadn't lost those 3 games, you know, by 1 pitch or haven't we had one. You still have to play good down the stretch no matter what. We control our own destiny. Let's go see where we stand.
Clark Schmidt will take the mound tonight for the Gamecocks, who leads the team with 57 strikeouts. And the NBA playoffs start Saturday with the Golden State Warriors boasting the best regular season record and #1 overall seed for the 3rd year in a row. And with 4 All-Stars on the roster, including 2-time reigning MVP Steph Curry, one would think they would roll over their first-round competition, right? Well, don't say that to Portland Trailblazers star Damian Lillard. When asked by CSN Northwest his prediction for the series against the Warriors, he simply said, Blazers in 6. Game 1 will be Sunday at Golden State at 3:30 in Oakland. Well, you got to love the guy's confidence. He's on the underdog team, but they have the good mentality going forward.
Yeah, well, I'm obsessed with Steph Curry, so I'm really pulling for the Warriors again.
Yeah, not a big basketball fan. I'll take USC back, but that's all right. And finally, on Carolina News, consider it a barnyard bash, how residents of one New Hampshire town are incorporating some fuzzy friends into their daily routine.
Never look a howler monkey in the eye. Fried ants are delicious. We finished a clinic in a rainstorm. Really? That was a confidence builder. My students actually ended up teaching me. Yeah. In la keg, a la king. Think managing a sales team is tough. Try working with 5 different villages. My alarm clock was a rooster. After 2 months, I was ready to quit, but after 2 years, I didn't want to leave. I didn't know I had it in me.
Turn 2 years of service into a lifetime of experience.
Well, you may have heard of farm to table, but what about farm to studio? One New Hampshire farm is creating a one-of-a-kind experience where yogis can stretch their stress away with goats. Farm owner Pete Coraview says classes started a week ago and now they're booked through June. Yogis say the exercise is great, but it's made better with goat snuggles. From the video, it's hard to tell who's enjoying it more, the yogis or the goats. What a story that is.
Where do I sign up?
I would do it for sure.
I would personally rather have dogs, but that's just as good.
That's pretty good, though. So when are the 4 of us signing up?
We'll make a trip up to New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Let's do it. After graduation.
Yeah.
Great idea.
I would really like that.
Mm-hmm.
You
That
know?
would be great.
Well, after graduation, I'm sure the temperatures are going to be nice, but probably not as nice as this weekend, all right? So tomorrow we're going to have nice, sunny 84, so make sure you get outside and enjoy that sun. The clouds are going to roll in on Easter, but it's still going to be perfect for a nice Easter egg hunt outside with the family. Next week, the storms are going to roll in from, right now it's at the Rocky Mountains, I would say. Those storms are tearing up the Midwest. They're going to come in around Monday, Tuesday and cause some thunderstorms, 30%, so it's not going to be too bad. And then it's going to clear up at the end of next week. So it's going to be a fantastic week.
Sounds great.
Looking forward to it.
Good, yeah.
And that's all the time we have today. Thanks so much for being with us.
See you next week. Have a great evening.